The final phase of humanity's campaign had arrived. Months of preparation, reconnaissance, and counterstrikes had led the fleet to a single decisive target: Kryllian Prime, the alien homeworld and command center. From orbit, the planet looked calm, almost serene, a stark contrast to the destruction it had caused across the galaxy. But beneath that calm surface lay the heart of the Kryllian Empire, organized, powerful, and unyielding. Captain Rohan Singh stood on the bridge of the USS Horizon, staring at the holographic display of the planet below. "This is it," he said quietly. "Every strategy we've tested, every lesson we've learned has led to this moment. Humanity will face the Kryllian where it matters most, and we will do so with intelligence, unity, and purpose." Lieutenant Mara Albright reviewed translated Kryllian communications. "They are aware of our fleet," she said. "They've mobilized defenses, but there is hesitation in their command. They don't understand how we think, and they cannot predict our moves. That hesitation is our advantage." Dr. Elena Morales added, "Every strike, every maneuver has taught us how to exploit their rigidity. Today we apply everything we've learned." Admiral Lucia Chen addressed the crew over the intercom. "This is not about revenge. This is about protecting life, ensuring the galaxy remains free from oppression. Stay focused, stay disciplined, and remember why we fight. Humanity stands together today." The human fleet approached Kryllian Prime under strict operational discipline. The ships moved in coordinated formations, but each unit acted independently when necessary, adapting to the planet's defenses. The Kryllian had deployed orbital defense platforms and interceptor squadrons, but humans had prepared for every scenario. Captain Singh issued precise commands. Strike units engaged diversion maneuvers. Recon drones map the defenses. Main fleet, hold formation but be ready to adapt instantly. This is a test of every skill we've trained for. For the first time, humans faced the full might of the Kryllian military. Laser turrets and energy shields bristled across the planet's surface. Interceptor squadrons patrolled orbit in tight formations. Yet despite the overwhelming numbers and technology, humans were undeterred. Human ingenuity in action. Instead of a direct assault, human fleets employed tactics that the Kryllian could not predict. Decoy ships drew enemy fire, while cloaked strike units maneuvered around planetary defenses. Drones hacked into Kryllian systems, disabling turrets and redirecting communications. Humans used the planet's own satellites as tools, turning the alien infrastructure against them without unnecessary destruction. Captain Singh watched carefully as one of the decoy units feigned retreat, drawing several interceptor squadrons into a trap. Human ships, previously hidden, emerged from the shadows and disabled the alien vessels with precision strikes. Mara's analysis confirmed the Kryllians' confusion. "They are panicking," she said. "Their command hierarchy is breaking down. They cannot predict our actions." Dr. Morales added, "This is why we fight with intelligence and morality. We minimize destruction but maximize impact. That is humanity's strength." The Kryllian leadership responds inside Kryllian Prime. The alien commanders were bewildered. Their ships were being disabled one by one, their protocols rendered ineffective. They could not comprehend the creativity, adaptability, and unity of humans. Panic and frustration rippled through their ranks. A Kryllian commander shouted orders, but conflicting instructions and the chaos in communications made coordination impossible. For the first time in centuries, the Kryllian realized that their superiority was not absolute. A new kind of opponent had emerged, one that could think, adapt, and surprise them in ways no machine or rigid hierarchy could anticipate. Landing on Kryllian Prime, Captain Singh and a specialized human strike team prepared for planetary descent. The objective was not to conquer, but to confront the leadership and force a resolution. The Kryllian capital city, once a symbol of their power, lay in preparation for the human arrival. Using stealth transport ships, humans bypassed most orbital defenses, landing in a remote but strategic location near the central command tower. Teams moved quickly and efficiently, coordinating every action through secure communication channels. Even with advanced alien security, human adaptability and teamwork allowed them to progress with minimal resistance. The face of humanity, at the core of Kryllian Prime, humans finally confronted the alien leaders. Captain Singh and his team approached with calm authority, holding no weapons raised in aggression. Mara translated the human message: "We come not to destroy, but to protect. We have seen the consequences of your actions. The galaxy does not have to live in fear of your cruelty. Humanity stands for life, unity, and justice. You can choose peace or you can face defeat. The Krillian leadership hesitated. They had expected submission, not courage. They had expected terror, not reason. And they had certainly not expected humans to show both intelligence and moral restraint in the face of overwhelming power. The choice after tense negotiations, it became clear that the Krillian were at a crossroads. Their military might was still significant, but their rigid hierarchy and lack of adaptability had been exposed. Humans demonstrated a strength the Krillian could not match. The combination of courage, strategy, morality, and unity. Captain Singh continued, "You have the choice to stop your aggression and join the galaxy in peace, or continue your path and face total defeat. The decision is yours." The Krillian deliberated, realizing the truth in humanity's words. They could no longer rely solely on technology, numbers, or protocol. Humans had demonstrated that even against impossible odds, intelligence, courage, and unity could overcome any challenge. Finally, the Krillian leader spoke. "We accept your terms. We will cease our expansion and seek peace with the galaxy." Human victory. With the agreement reached, human forces ensured a peaceful transition. Krillian Prime's defenses were not destroyed, but the planet was neutralized as a threat. Humans oversaw the rebuilding and protection of systems previously under Krillian control. The galaxy, which had once trembled before the alien empire, now saw humans as protectors, leaders, and exemplars of strength guided by morality. Captain Singh addressed his fleet. "We have faced the most dangerous enemy in the galaxy. We have prevailed not because of superior weapons or technology, but because of courage, creativity, and unity. Humanity has proven that we will protect life, stand for justice, and rise to any challenge." Dr. Morales added, "This is a victory for every world that cannot defend itself. Every species that has been threatened by cruelty now knows that humans are a force for protection and hope." A new era news of the Krillian surrender spread quickly. Across colonies and planets, people celebrated the victory. Humanity had not only survived but had reshaped the balance of power in the galaxy. Yet they remained humble. They knew this was not a call to domination, but a responsibility to guide, protect, and inspire. Mara Albright reflected on the journey. "We started with Zerathia, witnessing destruction and despair. Now we have shown the galaxy what humanity truly represents: intelligence, courage, and moral strength. We are not monsters, we are protectors." Captain Singh looked out at the stars. "Humanity has faced the impossible and prevailed. But the galaxy is vast and new challenges will come. We must remain vigilant, united, and ready. That is what it means to be human." Dr. Morales nodded. "And we will face them together, with our minds, our hearts, and our unity." The USS Horizon and the rest of the human fleet prepared to return home, carrying lessons learned, experience gained, and the promise of a new era. Humanity had not only confronted the Krillian, they had shown the galaxy the strength, intelligence, and moral courage that defined them. Somewhere, far across the stars, the survivors of Zerathia looked to the skies with renewed hope. Humanity had responded to genocide not with hatred, but with justice. And in doing so, they had proven a universal truth. The real monsters are not those who fight for life and justice, but those who destroy without conscience. And so humanity stood proud, unbroken, and ready for whatever the galaxy would bring next. The stars were no longer just distant lights. They were beacons of hope, a reminder that even in the darkest corners of space, life, courage, and morality could shine brighter than any weapon. The Krillian had learned their lesson. The galaxy had seen the rise of humanity, and Earth's response to genocide had become legend. Humans had met the real monsters, and shown them what true strength looks like. The Galactic University was a place unlike any other in the universe. It was where thousands of different alien species came together to learn about science, history, and culture from all corners of the galaxy. For many species, the stars were familiar, safe places filled with comfortable habitats and predictable dangers. But Earth was different. Earth had a special name in the galactic catalog. It was called a Deathworld. Many alien scientists thought Earth was too dangerous for any intelligent life to live on it. The planet was wild and full of threats, from raging storms and deadly animals to strange diseases and violent people. Yet somehow humans lived there, not only surviving but thriving. For this reason, the Galactic University decided to send a group, of its best students to Earth. Their mission was to learn what made Earth so dangerous and how humans managed to live there. 5. Students were chosen for this special trip. They came from very different planets and cultures. There was Kyla, a tall, blue-feathered bird-like alien with sharp eyes and a careful mind. She was a researcher who loved learning about strange animals and plants. Then there was Zor, a crystal-skinned philosopher whose body sparkled in the light. Zor liked thinking about deep questions, like what made life meaningful or why people believed in gods. Lumi was a jellyfish-like being who could feel emotions from others. She was kind and gentle, and often helped calm arguments among students. Rygok was a reptilian survivalist from a desert planet. He was tough and silent, always watching carefully and ready for danger. Finally, there was an AI student called M7 who lived in a small floating cube of light. M7 could access information faster than any biological being and was curious about human technology and society. The 5 students arrived on Earth in a bright silver ship. The ship landed in a quiet field outside a small town. They were greeted by their human guide, Professor Helen. She was a woman in her early 40s with sharp eyes and a warm smile. "Welcome to Earth," Helen said, shaking each alien's hand. "I'm glad you made it here safely. You'll find Earth is not what most people expect." Helen introduced them to her brother Jake, who had once been a soldier. He was tall and strong, with a calm voice and quick reflexes. "The planet can be harsh," Jake said quietly, "but humans have learned to live with it." The students looked around and saw a green forest nearby, a small river flowing through it, and mountains far away. The air smelled fresh but also strange to their alien noses. As they walked into the town, the students saw many signs of life. People talking loudly on the streets, children playing, and cars rushing by. It was noisy, messy, and busy. Kyla tilted her head. "It's different from the peaceful worlds I know," she said. Zor nodded thoughtfully. "The chaos here feels alive." Helen smiled. "Earth is full of surprises." On the second day, the group went hiking near a large forest. Helen warned them to stay close and watch their step. "You have to be careful here," she said. "Earth has many dangers you don't see at first." As they moved through the trees, Rygok's sharp eyes suddenly spotted movement ahead. A large brown bear was sniffing around looking for food. The alien students froze. None of them had seen such a dangerous animal up close before. The bear looked powerful, with thick fur and strong claws. Jake calmly stepped forward, raising his voice in a low growl. "Back away slowly," he said. The bear looked at Jake but didn't attack. Slowly, it turned and walked away into the forest. Kyla breathed a sigh of relief. "This place is wild," she said. Rygok grunted. "I thought desert life was tough. Earth is something else." Helen smiled softly. "This is just the beginning. You haven't even seen the half of it." That night, the group sat around a campfire. Helen and Jake told stories about Earth's dangers. Violent storms, dangerous animals, deadly diseases, and humans who fought wars against each other. "But humans still live here," Lumi said softly. Why choose such a place?" Helen looked at them seriously. "Because Earth is not just dangerous, it's home, and humans are made to survive it." Zor leaned forward, interested. "How can that be?" "Most species avoid danger to survive." Jake smiled slightly. "Humans don't avoid danger. Sometimes they even run into it." The aliens looked at each other, surprised by this strange idea. The next morning, M7 accessed Earth's history files. It showed the group images of humans climbing mountains, swimming in storms, running into burning buildings, and building cities in deserts and jungles. "It's like they are always testing themselves," Kyla said. Helen nodded. "Humans have survived ice ages, great floods, and diseases that wiped out most of the population. Yet they always rebuild and push forward." Lumi asked, "Is it fear, or something else?" "It's hope," Helen answered. "Hope and the will to live." Days passed and the students learned more about Earth. They visited cities, small villages, and nature reserves. They met humans who told stories of courage and loss, kindness and strength. One evening, the group sat on a hill watching the sunset. The sky was painted with colors they had never seen before. "This planet is full of contradictions," Zor said. "Beauty and danger, love and violence." "Exactly," Helen said. "And humans live in the middle of it all." The students were quiet, thinking about everything they had seen and heard. On their last day before returning to the Galactic University, the students gathered for one last hike. As they walked, Ragok looked around and muttered, "Earth is not just dangerous. It's alive in a way I don't understand." Jake smiled. "That's the spirit of Earth. It challenges you, but it also changes you." Kyla looked at the horizon. "I came here to study Earth's dangers, but I think I found something more." Helen nodded. "You're beginning to understand why Earth is called a death world, but why humans call it home." The group returned to the ship, ready to share their findings. They knew their report would surprise many in the galaxy. Earth was more than a dangerous planet. It was a place that tested life in every way, and humans were the proof that life could not only survive but grow stronger in the face of death. As the ship lifted off, Kyla looked back at the green planet below. "We came to learn why Earth is a death world," she said quietly. "But I think the real story is why Earth made humans who can survive anything." The stars waited ahead, but none of the students would ever forget what they had learned on Earth. A wild, beautiful, dangerous planet that had shaped a species unlike any other in the galaxy. The silver ship hovered quietly above the Earth's surface. The 5 alien students, still filled with wonder from their first days on Earth, prepared for another set of experiences that would push their understanding even deeper. They were no longer just visitors. They were observers of one of the most dangerous and surprising places in the galaxy. Professor Helen met them at the ship's landing site, her eyes bright with excitement. "Today you will see humans not just survive but thrive in impossible conditions," she said. "Earth is a death world, yes, but it's also a place where humans have learned to beat the odds." The students exchanged looks. They were ready to see what humans could really do. Their first stop was a city on the coast that was known for powerful storms. The alien students watched as dark clouds gathered and the wind began to howl. People on the streets hurried to close windows, bring inside loose objects, and secure their homes. "It looks dangerous," said Kyla, her sharp eyes watching the growing waves on the sea. Helen nodded. "These storms can destroy entire neighborhoods, but humans prepare for them." They moved to a safe shelter where the city had built a strong, storm-proof building. Inside, families sat together talking and helping each other. Children played quietly despite the thunder outside. Ragok, the reptilian survivalist, studied the humans closely. "Why don't they panic?" he asked. Helen smiled. "Because they have lived through this many times. They know fear, but they also know how to fight it." The storm raged for hours, and outside the shelter, trees bent and water flooded the streets. But inside, humans stayed calm. Some sang songs, others shared stories, and all waited patiently. The next day, the group visited a mountain region far from the city. Here, humans challenged the cold, thin air and steep cliffs. Kyla was amazed to see people climbing sharp rocks and hiking in snowstorms. "Why do they risk their lives for this?" she asked. Jake, Helen's brother, answered. "Because they want to test themselves. They want to feel alive." Zor, the crystal philosopher, thought deeply. "It seems humans enjoy danger," Helen agreed. "It's not just danger. It's a choice. They face risks to grow stronger, to learn, to feel free." They met a group of mountain climbers who had survived avalanches and frostbite. The climbers laughed as they told stories of their adventures. Their joy was not just about reaching the top, but about facing the mountain itself. From the mountains, the group traveled to a remote village recovering from a great flood. The river had overflowed during a spring storm, destroying homes and fields. The alien students saw humans working together to rebuild their lives. Men and women cleared debris, repaired roofs, and shared food with neighbors. "It's incredible how fast they recover," Lumi said softly, her empathic senses picking up strong feelings of hope and determination. One woman, Maria, told the students her story. "We lost a lot," she said, "but we don't give up. This land is our home. We will make it better than before." The students saw children playing in muddy fields, laughing despite the hardships. It was a powerful lesson in strength and spirit. Later, the group visited a city hospital. Here, humans fought invisible dangers, diseases and injuries. M7, the AI student, was fascinated by the technology and the people working there. Doctors and nurses worked tirelessly to save lives, using tools and knowledge that M7 had never seen before. A doctor explained, "We face new illnesses every year. Some are deadly, but we study them, learn, and create new treatments. Humans don't give up on life easily." The students watched as a nurse comforted a child who was afraid. Lumi's empathy grew stronger, feeling the child's pain and hope in the same moment. "It is not only the body that fights here," Lumi said. "It is the spirit." In the evening, the group gathered around a fire outside the hospital. The city lights flickered in the distance as the sky darkened. Helen spoke quietly. "Humans have survived natural disasters, disease, wars, and more. Each time they rebuild and continue. Why? Because they want to live and make the world better." Zor looked thoughtful. "But survival is not enough. Humans seem to thrive on challenge. It is as if they become stronger through suffering." Jake nodded. "It's true. The harder the test, the stronger they get." Kyla smiled. "It is like Earth itself teaches humans to be tough." To better understand this, the students asked to hear stories from humans who had lived through extreme situations. Helen introduced them to people with stories of courage. One man, a former firefighter, told how he ran into burning buildings to save others. "I was scared," he said, "but I didn't think about myself. I thought about those who needed help." Another woman spoke about surviving a war zone. She had lost her home and family, but still chose to help rebuild schools and hospitals. The students listened in silence, amazed by the strength of these people. Lumi said softly, "The danger is real, but the care is stronger." Back at the ship, M7 scanned Earth's history files and found something that surprised even the AI. "Earth has experienced 5 mass extinctions," M7 said, "where most life was wiped out. And humans live after all of these." The students were silent for a moment. "How is this possible?" asked Ragok. Helen answered, "Because humans are built to survive no matter the cost." M7's voice was calm but serious. "Current data shows Earth may be entering a 6th extinction, partly caused by humans themselves." The group looked troubled. The danger was not only outside but within humanity's own actions. That night, the students debated quietly among themselves. "Earth is more dangerous than we thought," Kyla said. "But humans are more powerful than we expected." Zor agreed. "They are a paradox, creators and destroyers, fragile and fierce." Ragok nodded slowly. "I respect their strength. I wish my people could be like them," Lumi added. "Their emotions are intense, but they make them stronger, not weaker." M7 was silent, processing all the information. The next day, Helen took the group to visit a sports event, a human competition full of extreme physical challenges. The athletes ran through obstacle courses, climbed walls, swam through cold water, and jumped from great heights. The crowd cheered wildly. The alien students watched in awe as humans pushed their bodies to limits that seemed impossible. "Why do they do this?" asked Kyla. Helen smiled. "Because they want to prove to themselves they can do it. They want to live with passion." Zor said, "It is not survival alone. It is a celebration of life." The students understood more clearly now. Humans did not just survive on Earth. They chose to challenge the planet and themselves every day. Before leaving the sports event, the group talked with a young athlete who had overcome a serious injury. "I could have given up," she said, "but I didn't. Earth made me tough. It made me want to fight." The students felt a new respect for humans here. They were not just survivors. They were warriors of spirit and will. As the day ended, the alien students gathered once more. Helen said softly, "You asked why Earth is a death world. Now you know. It is because Earth tests everything, body, mind, and heart. But humans are not just victims of the planet. They are its strongest part." Kyla looked at the sky. "Earth may try to kill humans, but humans keep coming back." Ragok said quietly, "I think I understand now. The danger is not just outside. It is inside humans too, a fire that will not go out." M7 added, "This fire makes humans unique in the galaxy. It is their greatest weapon and greatest hope." As night fell, the stars shining above Earth seemed brighter to the students than ever before. They had come to learn about a dangerous world. But what they found was a story of strength, hope, and endless fight. Earth was a death world, yes, but it was also the birthplace of a species unlike any other in the galaxy, and the story was only beginning. The days on Earth grew more intense for the 5 alien students. They had seen humans survive storms, climb mountains, and rebuild after disasters. But now they were about to learn something even deeper. The real challenge of living on Earth was not just in the outside world, but inside the humans themselves. Professor Helen led the group through a quiet forest trail near a small town. The air was fresh, filled with the sounds of birds and rustling leaves. Yet the students noticed a strange feeling around them, something hard to explain. "This forest has seen centuries of change," Helen said. "It has survived fires, floods, and human hands. But more than that, it carries stories of those who lived and died here." Lumi's glowing body pulsed softly. "I can feel the emotions in the air, sadness, hope, fear, love. It is strong." Zor, the philosopher, looked up at the tall trees. "Humans do not just live with danger. They live with memory, and that memory shapes them." They came to a small memorial site, a place where humans remembered those lost in wars long ago. The students saw names carved into stone and flowers left by visitors. Lumi's empathy grew so strong she almost could not stand. "The pain here is deep. It is like the forest itself remembers." Kyla placed her hand gently on the stone. "The history of humans is filled with loss, yet they keep living." Helen nodded. "That is one of the greatest mysteries of Earth. Humans carry grief and pain, but they do not let it stop them." Ragok, usually quiet, spoke with respect. "It is not just strength of body. It is strength of heart." Later, the group visited a small school. Children were learning about fairness, kindness, and courage. Zor sat quietly, watching a human child speak with passion about justice. "I do not understand," Zor said. "Why do humans care so deeply about right and wrong?" "On my planet, survival is the only law," Helen smiled. "Humans live in a complex world of ideas. Their emotions guide them, sometimes even more than logic." The child looked at Zor and said, "Because without fairness, we cannot trust each other. Without trust, we cannot live together." Zor was silent, realizing the depth of human thought. That evening, a storm rolled in quickly. Dark clouds filled the sky and thunder roared loudly. The alien students felt fear rising. The storm was strong and unpredictable. Helen and Jake moved quickly, helping neighbors prepare. They handed out supplies and checked on the elderly. The aliens panicked at first, unused to such chaos. But they watched as humans calmly worked together. A woman helped an old man into a safe room. A group of children held hands and sang softly. Kyla whispered, "I don't understand. How can they be so calm in this?" Helen replied, "They have lived with storms all their lives. They have learned to accept danger as part of life." Ragok, eyes wide, said, "They do not run from fear. They face it." As the storm passed, the group walked through the town. Trees were broken, roofs damaged, and water flooded the streets. Yet humans were already cleaning and fixing. Laughter mixed with hard work. Lumi smiled softly. "It is as if pain makes them stronger." Helen nodded. "Earth tests humans in every way, physically, mentally, and emotionally. But it is their spirit that survives." Back at their ship, the students discussed what they had learned. Kyla said, "Earth is dangerous, yes, but humans are more than survivors. They are warriors of the heart," Zor agreed. "Their emotions give them power, not weakness." Ragok added, "I have never seen a species like this. They feel pain and loss but do not break." Lumi said, "Their empathy makes them connected, even in suffering." M7 analyzed all the data and said, "Humans have a complex inner world that interacts with their environment. This may explain their resilience." The next day, Helen took the group to a historical battlefield. The ground was scarred and old weapons lay half buried in the dirt. They met an old man, a veteran who told stories of fighting for his country. He spoke of fear, loss, and the will to protect others. "War is terrible," he said, "but sometimes necessary. We fight not because we hate, but because we care." The students listened quietly. Feeling the weight of his words, Lumi said softly, "Humans fight with love and hate together." Zor added, "It is a powerful contradiction." After the battlefield visit, the group walked into a quiet forest clearing. They sat and watched the stars begin to shine in the darkening sky. Helen said, "Earth is not just a dangerous planet. It is a place of deep feelings and strong hearts. Humans are shaped by this, by loss and love, fear and hope." Kyla looked up at the stars. "Their emotions give them a fire that burns inside." Ragok said, "This fire makes them stronger than many other species." Zor spoke softly, "Perhaps this is why Earth is called a Deathworld, not just for the dangers outside, but for the strength it forces inside humans." The next morning, M7 presented a surprising discovery. Earth's history shows 5 mass extinction events, M7 said. Almost all life was wiped out during these times. The students gasped. But humans survived all of this, Helen said. They rebuilt life again and again. The AI continued. Current evidence suggests humans may have caused the start of a 6th extinction. The group looked troubled. Kyla asked, "How can humans survive when they themselves bring danger?" Helen replied, "Humans are complex. They create and destroy. Their emotions lead to both." That afternoon, the group visited a quiet village. There, they saw humans planting trees, cleaning rivers, and caring for animals. A woman named Sarah told them, "We made mistakes, but we want to fix them. Earth is our home and we protect it." Lumi smiled. "This hope balances the danger." Zor nodded. Humans carry both destruction and healing inside them. The students sat around a fire that night. Helen said, "You asked why Earth is a death world. Now you see it is not just the storms or animals. It is the emotions, the memories, the choices humans make." Kyla whispered, "Earth tests everything. Body, mind, and soul," Ragok said, "and humans fight every test, no matter the cost." M7 added, "Their inner fire is unique in the galaxy." The final day of their visit came. The students were quiet, thinking about all they had learned. Helen smiled and said, "You now understand the true nature of Earth and its people. It is not an easy world, but it makes humans who they are." Kyla looked at the green planet below. "Earth is more than a death world. It is a crucible," Zor said softly. "It shapes life through pain and love." Ragok said, "I respect humans more than ever." Lumi added, "Their emotions connect them deeply to their world." M7 quietly stated, "This is the real reason Earth is feared and admired." As the ship rose into space, the students looked down at Earth. They had come seeking answers about danger. What they found was a story of strength, heart, and fire. Earth was a death world, yes, but it was also the birthplace of a species that had learned to survive its storms, not only outside but inside themselves. And this was only the beginning of their story. The silver ship moved slowly away from Earth's surface, but the 5 alien students could not stop thinking about everything they had seen and learned. They had watched humans face danger, pain, and loss, yet also hope, courage, and kindness. But Professor Helen told them, "There is more to Earth than just danger and survival. There are hidden strengths you must see." The students nodded eagerly. They wanted to understand what made humans truly special. Their first stop was a small village in a deep valley. Here, humans lived close to nature, depending on the land and water for their daily needs. Helen explained, "Many humans know how to live in balance with Earth. They do not just take, they give back." The students watched as villagers worked together, planting crops, collecting clean water, and caring for animals. A man named Tom showed them a small garden filled with herbs and vegetables. "We grow what Earth can give us," he said. "If we respect the land, it will keep giving." Kyla looked closely. "This is different from cities. Here, people live in harmony." Helen nodded. "It is one way humans survive the dangers, by learning from Earth, not fighting it." As the day passed, the group helped villagers repair a broken water well. The aliens struggled at first, but the humans showed patience and kindness. Lumi smiled warmly. "Humans teach through care." The villagers told stories of past droughts and floods. Even though the land was harsh, their spirit stayed strong. "Why do you keep trying?" Kyla asked a woman named Emma. Emma laughed softly. "Because this is home. Because hope is stronger than fear." The students felt something new, a deep connection between humans and Earth that went beyond danger. That evening, the group gathered by a river. The water flowed gently, reflecting the stars above. Helen spoke softly. "Earth teaches humans many lessons: patience, respect, and hope." Ragok looked at the flowing water. "It is peaceful here, but I know this river can flood and destroy." Helen nodded. "Yes, but the river also brings life. It reminds humans that danger and beauty can live together." Zor smiled. "This balance is part of the Earth's secret strength." The next morning, Helen led the group to a research center in a city. Here, humans studied Earth's many dangers to better protect themselves. M7 was excited. This is where humans use knowledge to fight danger. Scientists worked with machines, examining weather patterns, earthquakes, and animal behavior. They created early warnings and planned safety systems. A scientist named Dr. Lee explained, "Earth is unpredictable. We cannot control it, but we can prepare." The students watched data on giant screens showing storms forming and earthquakes shifting. Helen said, "Humans combine brains with bravery." After the visit, the group traveled to a city park filled with children playing and families laughing. Kyla noticed how humans helped each other. Mothers watched their children carefully. Friends shared food and stories. Lumi's empathy felt the warmth of friendship and community. Helen said, "Humans build strength not just from fighting danger, but from helping each other." Ragok said, "Their bonds make them stronger than any weapon." Zor added, "The power of connection is Earth's true gift." Later, the students visited a place where artists created paintings, music, and stories. They listened to a musician playing a simple song on a guitar. The music was soft and hopeful. Helen explained, "Humans use art to express feelings they cannot say. It helps them heal." The students were moved by a painting showing a small tree growing through cracked concrete. "This is Earth's spirit," Helen said. "Life will find a way no matter how hard the world is." The students began to understand that survival was not just physical. It was emotional and spiritual too. That night, the students sat with Helen and Jake around a fire. Kyla said, "Earth is more than storms and mountains. It is a place of balance between danger and hope." Helen smiled. "Yes, Earth is a teacher but also a partner." Ragok said, "Humans respect Earth even when it is harsh." Zor added, "They see danger and beauty as two sides of the same coin." M7 analyzed, "This balance may explain why humans survive and thrive." The next day, Helen took the group to a large city where people lived very differently from the village. The city was noisy and busy, filled with tall buildings and millions of people. The students were amazed by the energy and variety. Helen explained, "Cities are dangerous too in their pollution, crime, stress, but humans have learned to adapt here as well." They visited a community center where people helped those in need, the homeless, the sick, and the lonely. A woman named Rosa told the students, "We face many problems, but we do not give up on each other." Lumi smiled. "Humans create hope in the darkest places." At night, the students walked on the city streets. They saw lights, heard music, and smelled food from many cultures. Kyla said, "Humans are creative and resourceful." Helen nodded. "They invent new ways to live and work together," Ragok said. "This strength comes from inside, from their desire to connect and survive." Zor whispered, "Earth is dangerous, but humans are dangerous too, in a good way." The following morning, the group visited a space center where humans launched rockets into space. M7 was excited. "Humans explore beyond Earth even though it is dangerous." Helen smiled. "Yes, they are curious and brave." They met astronauts preparing for a mission. The astronauts spoke of fear but also hope for discovery. Kyla said, "Humans do not only survive Earth, they want to go beyond it." Helen said, "This is part of their strength, hope for a better future." As the trip neared its end, the students reflected on everything they had seen. Helen said, "Earth is a death world, yes, but it is also a place of hidden strength, hope, kindness, creativity, and balance." Kyla smiled. "I see now. Humans are shaped by danger, but also by love and connection." Ragok said, "Their fire inside is their greatest weapon." Zor added, "Earth tests humans, but humans also teach Earth." Lumi said, "Their emotions bind them to their world and each other." M7 concluded, "This balance makes humans unique in the galaxy." The silver ship prepared to leave Earth's orbit. The students looked down one last time at the blue-green planet. They had come to learn why Earth was called a death world. What they found was a story of survival, hope and strength deeper than they could have imagined. Earth was dangerous. Yes, but it was also alive with the spirit of a species that refused to give up. And that was Earth's greatest secret of all.